Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. This is a recording on another Monday. Again, I didn't feel like it on Saturday, so I think it might just be a record on Monday, post on Monday night, type of thing. It seems to work best for me. I procrastinate on the weekends. And I have everybody always says I'm a little ADHD for it. Can't think of the other word I'm thinking of, but where I always have to do something in a schedule. So like I clean on Saturdays right now. Usually between 4 to 6 p.m. I'll either start between, at some point between 4 and 6, and it takes me an hour to clean. I go to the grocery store. That really, it used to be a set day. Now it kind of varies whenever the fuck I feel like it, which is typically right now. I was sitting at like a Friday, Saturday, or usually Friday or Saturday night. Sundays I like to be able to come back from, I don't know, whatever the hell. It's just Sunday is like my day, some video games, Curb Your Enthusiasm. If I'm feeling frisky, I might take a nap, but that'll fuck up my next day, so I try not to do that on a Sunday. It's just I have to go work tomorrow, and Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday is all yours, and you kind of go through that cycle, the unhealthy cycle of that. I think it's unhealthy. Maybe if there were some studies. So I was thinking today, I get paid to do a lot of thinking, and I was remembering back the last Christmas, last year, it's 2021. And I'm not going to tell you where I'm from yet. Not proud of it at all. And it's about an hour from where I'm at now. Still not going to tell you that either. And I was traveling back on Christmas Day. I like to try and visit 2 to 3 times a year. Things happen. Sometimes it's a couple more times than that. But I try and limit my time there as much as humanly possible. So I got there. I was driving by myself. Just the whole relaxation thing. And so, but I drove there and I get into town like 5 minutes away from my mom's house. And right off the highway, probably within a half mile, is this giant billboard road sign right on the side of the road. Gigantic. And it says, it's from the Ohio Health Department. And I live in Ohio. I'm from Ohio, but it's the Ohio Health Department, like an official fucking billboard that they paid for. And, or it was like Clark County, the health department, or something like that. And one of the health departments. And the billboard said, blank county, that county that it's in, has an outbreak of syphilis, and it urges everybody to get tested. That's the first thing that you see. Anybody that's getting off the highway going into this shithole, that's the first thing that they see. And I saw that, and I laughed out loud. I was like, that's hilarious, but I wasn't surprised. Like, it didn't surprise me, because I was like, yeah, it's probably been rampant for some time now, but it's funny that they just mention it. So if you know what county I'm talking about, get tested, I guess, is the moral of the story. So apparently I never knew this until fairly recently. I have some friends that used to work at the old people community places, and because I think we got on the subject by talking about that syphilis fucking sign, and they were saying that it's probably like mostly from those nursing homes, because like apparently the old people, they don't have much to do. It would probably figure that, but from those 4 hours during the whole 24 hours that they're awake, apparently they're just nonstop fucking. and they all have different diseases, and there's a lot of shit going on there with grandma and grandpa. Some just sharing, some couple swaps, probably some threesomes going on at night. I mean, it is a freaky place. So I was like, I mean, that makes sense. What are the old people or young people going in to fuck the old people at? Oh man, that's, I'm not gonna get into that. But back in 2017, I was on break from college. We initially started out as a break, like a summer break, and that's going to go back in the fall. Didn't pan out. I didn't go back, so I had 2 years of college. I feel like it's more than enough. I mean, I think I'm pretty intelligent, and that summer, I was looking, before the semester came to an end, I was looking for jobs. And I thought, at that time, I thought that not only did I enjoy kids, I thought that I wanted to eventually have kids. Obviously not myself. I would help contribute. But I was like, you like kids, you think you want to have kids one day. What better way than working at a daycare? So I applied. There are a few red flags. I think there were some few red flags there. So the main red flag that I noticed was, we were in the interview, 20, 30 minutes or whatever. They offered me the job. Like, fucking cool. They're giving me a tour of the place. And then initially what I applied for is like the toddlers, or the two to four, I don't know, the young kids. In a way, I'm kind of glad I didn't do that, because you have to do the whole cleaning, wiping, diaper. I don't like to get my hands dirty. So we're about halfway through the interview, or all the way through the interview, I got offered the job after the tour and everything. And we're talking about pay, and I was like, cool. I was like, I'll take it. And then this should have been a major red flag. I did not see it at the time. I thought she was just being nice. But she's like, are you sure you can take the weekend? Let me know on Monday. What happened? I was like, no, I'll take it. And she's like, what? Are you sure you don't want to think about it? And I was like, no, I want it. And she's like, well, here, take the weekend. Just call me on Monday and let me know. I was like, okay, cool. I took the weekend. I called her back on Monday. I was like, I'll take the job. I got the job. But I wonder now if she just accidentally hired me and was like, how the fuck do I get out of this? We did not get along. She didn't get along with many people. Not even the parents. It's just, yeah, we didn't end on great terms either. And I remember my sister at the time, well, she's still my sister. But at the time, my sister, was like, you don't want to leave on bad terms and burn bridges. And I was talking to somebody recently. I think I currently work with them. I can't remember. And they, so I was talking to a friend that I think I currently work with, and we were talking about burning bridges. I think they brought it up. We were talking about burning bridges and how that's an archaic way of thinking. Kissassery in a way. I think if that's a word, I think would describe that. I wholeheartedly, and I laughed to myself and my sister, or chuckled to myself, because I when my sister told me that, because I was like, what do you mean don't burn bridges? I think if you have any type of chance to go out in a bad way, I don't think it's a bad thing to go out a bad way. Because if you're in there and you were having, because in the instance of a just a terrible work culture, like that one place was, and the work culture, whether directed towards you or not, it's just the culture in general, can make you jaded or just not enjoy your time there. And in turn, your bosses probably, if you have any, if you're still doing your job, they don't fucking care. But if you just stop doing your job or don't do as good of a job, they're gonna be like, hey, and they're gonna have some issue with it. Hit your production, or you need to make us X amount of money. Capitalism sucks, I think, is the crux of that. But I always think leaving on bad terms is better than leaving on good terms, right? Because if you're leaving on good terms and it's legit good terms, and good, but if it's legit terms because you don't want to say how you felt or how you were treated or how, what working at so-and-so company, how that made you feel. And the truth of, not necessarily all of the evils or all of the bad things you see within the company or processes that are being done, but good things as well. But you should also be able to have that time to air your grievances. So if you're not happy at a company, most people aren't going to go up to their boss and say, hey, fucking boss, not only do I hate you, I also hate the company, it turns out. I'm thinking about leaving. Can you help? Hey, no, not many people are going to do that. So they're either going to quit on good terms, give her fucking 2 weeks, and be like, yeah, I hope to see you guys from the bar. The whole fucking just chit chat, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. They're not going to remember that interaction. They could care less. You're just another number in the machine. So I think if you need to leave on bad terms, I have always wholeheartedly felt, and I was always told, well, that's because you're younger. When you grow up, you'll see it differently. And I haven't. My views on a lot of things have not changed. I've had significant views change, though. I guess I had a lot of views change in a way. But that's one of the things that I can always remember of, always just kiss your boss's ass no matter what. And, death, taxes, and whatever else is going to happen. And I always found that is not only a depressing way to kind of view life, but also just because this is off topic, but it's gonna be on topic. I think that's all my thoughts go like that in my head. I just constantly going. That's why I forget where I'm at sometimes. But I remember in college, side note, I took a whitewater rafting course in college. 1 semester, a little bit of classroom time. Most of the classes were canceled. And then we went down to Pennsylvania as a class and went whitewater rafting in October. I love the cold water, but the wetsuits, amazing, keep you nice and warm. You can still swim. Great time. I haven't been. That was in 2015, 2016? No, it was my first year. I was freshman. Second semester. That's when I went. It was a fun trip. And there was one girl in front of me. I'm sure she's great. I'm sure somebody loves her somewhere. But that bitch wasn't paddling, and it was annoying. I was like, ma'am, I was younger at the time, more agile than I am now. I was able to keep up and do my fair share, but she wasn't doing her fair share her fucking share. She wouldn't fucking do it. She was just sitting there enjoying the ride. Bitch, paddle the boat. Paddle the boat. It's not difficult. But it is when the person in front of you isn't. Makes it twice as more difficult. Because your fat ass is on here and I can't fucking paddle if you're not paddling. I almost hit her upside the head with my paddle, and either would have woken her up from her slumber, or she would have gone comatose, which is already how she was. So the only difference is she's going to be laying down instead of sitting up. Fucking bitch. But it was a great trip. I always remember her. I don't know her name. I could not pick her out of a lineup. But she was on that trip. You know who you are. But I also took my first year, I think it was my very first year, first semester. I took a philosophy course. Because I was like, this will be interesting. And going into that philosophy class, I never thought that people believed that life was a matrix. That I didn't believe that people thought this could be simulated or created up by, different whatever. I never could have imagined that, because I knew there was the movie. I didn't even watch it. I didn't like it. But I went to this class, and I remember the first day, he was student teaching because he was going for his master's, I believe. And I forget his name, but he's a great guy. But I went in thinking, I was like, this guy's nuts. He has a long beard, long hair, a larger guy. And I'm like, this guy is off his fucking rocker. But we're in class, and he's like, close your eyes, and he's kind of taking us through just kind of basically a mind exercise of what is today, June 13th 2022 at 8:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What is that in Ohio, in whatever state you're in, whatever country you're in? Like, how do you know you're really there? And everybody kind of describes it as when you can see it, you can hear things, you can taste things, you can smell things, you can touch things, you can feel things. And basically that whole first class was of how do you know that you're really in Ohio, or how do you know you're in Washington State, or how do you know you're not somewhere else? How do you know that this isn't a different year, a different place, or time doesn't exist, or nothing exists? People, it's hard to wrap your mind around. And I walked out of class the same way I walked in. I was like, this guy is fucking nuts. And it probably half the semester, I was probably like, man, this is interesting in a way, but I didn't find it plausible. About halfway through, kind of discussing things more, how color is just a certain wavelength, and we were talking about a lot of different things, and it clicked. And I kind of did more research on it, and more, just reading different things on the simulation theory. And I think it's true. I think it's more plausible than anything. Because space is so wide, and they say it doesn't end, but it's like, how did we all end up here? So there's two ways of thinking. You can be a crazy fuck, and I believe Jesus created, or God created everything in 6 days, and then he did something on the fucking 7th. I don't know. Or you can believe that we all started as a fish or whatever. I don't know. And we evolved from there into what we are now. I don't see it plausible. Those are generally the two ways of thinking. I'm a crazy fuck, or I'm another crazy fuck. I mean, they're both crazos, right? You got a third one that this is fake. None of this is real, right? I have a bunch of computer screens in front of me. None of them are real. Nothing is real. This pen, not fucking real, right? Everything is created, not in the crazy way. And that's my thinking sound. People laugh at that, but I think it's a good thinking sound to have, because that way you're making a noise, and it sounds like I'm taking a shit in my chair right now. But in all reality, my 6.5 brain cells are pumping. They're pumping, right? They're in there lifting, and hibbing them a little bit of, but right down 3.5. But yeah, life, nothing is real. How I've seen it is, or in my mind how I see it, is that everybody including yourself, are in your alternate universe. So basically your own little world where that's where you live. You might come across other people, other cars, bikes, buses, things like that. But how do you know that they're not basically what we see as a video game, where those aren't real at all? They're computer generated. Everything around you is generated. And then when you cross paths with the people that you do know, then you are crossing worlds, and you're in one line of the timeline at that time. And I think that it helps explain deja vu, I think, because you could be in one line of universe doing one thing, and then when you switch back into your current timeline, that didn't happen. So that's why it happens again, because the back end computer knows that it sent the first time, didn't happen. So now we got to send it back, or the computer system sees that it went through, but didn't happen on this line. So it needs to come back around and get you for whatever that is, whatever's going to happen. And then you're like, man, I just did that, right? Or I just said that, or I just thought of that, right? A lot of that happens all the time. And I don't know what the scientists say that is or anything, but who cares? But basically, life is fucking fake. And I think that's a good way to view life, that it's fucking just fake and nothing matters. Because at the end of the day, nothing matters, and they say you're going to die. I do have a plan to live forever. I don't think it's FDA approved. It's just my thoughts that I would want to live forever, or live. Again, none of it's real, so you can do whatever you want, really. But it's a good way to live life, because I was watching this video. You should look it up and watch it. It's 26 minutes or something. It's well worth it. And it's a Jim Carrey speech when he went to I can't remember the name of the college, but he went to a college to speak. I think it's about 2014 or so. And it was one of the first, I think it was the first speech. Because I remember I first watched it a few years ago. And probably right around when he did the speech. Probably around when I first saw it. But he's at this college, Harishimi College, something along those lines. It was something similar to that. And it was a good speech. And it was one of his, I think the first thing I ever saw of him that was a serious interview. It was more serious than it was joking around. So, and it was good because he had some jokes in there. I mean, you have Jim Carrey there, you want some laughs. But I think he did a very good job of balancing it out because, you know, he started by being, you know, appreciative and then he had a joke. And he might keep on with a joke, kind of seeing how long the audience will stay on it. And, you know, when it kind of started to feel like, you know, he might start hitting, like, this is too much, he'll go into a serious thing. But it was a really good speech. And I watch it every few months, every couple months, every 2-3 months. I might watch it again today. And it blends, you know, a little bit of the comedy, but it's not about the comedy. I would watch a 2-hour interview with him without any comedy, just him being Jim Carrey. And not the actor or the public part of Jim Carrey, but the private part, more serious. Because I think it's interesting when you watch somebody, because I watched him growing up. I mean, I watched the Dumb and Dumber. I saw a lot of his stuff, The Mask, I remember that. And, you know, with the movies that I saw, the ones that I saw were always the comedy ones, the ones where, you know, if he's in the scene, he's making a joke. And I never saw that side of him, more, you know, serious side of how he views life or how he sees life himself. And, you know, and how or what he did to become successful, whatever the fuck that means. Again, it's another word that means successful it means something to each and every person. I don't think I've met anyone that has defined success the same, right? People are either saying success is, you know, a high-paying job. Well, then you go from there. What do you consider a high-paying job? You ask 10 people, you're going to get 10 different answers. Right? You ask Tim Cook, you know, he might give you his fucking amount that he makes every year. You ask a homeless person, they're going to give you something far off from that number. You ask somebody that's making a little bit of money, probably, you know, 40, 50,000. They're going to have a different answer of what success is and how much is a lot of money. Because a lot of money for one person might be $1 million, you know, and you go ask Jeff Bezos' dumbass, he's like $1 million. Isn't that what we pay for groceries now? Like, he doesn't know. And you're going to have 2 different answers. You tell Jeff Bezos you're giving him $1 million. He's like, during that pause, that's how much I just made. He doesn't need your $1 million. Start putting some more zeros on there and he'll start listening. But it was Jim Carrey's first serious interview that I saw. And I've seen more after that. They're always very interesting. Always love to watch them. I wish he had more. But it's cool to kind of see those aspects because you can see more serious people where they go from being an uptight millionaire fuck to your fucking everyday person where they're just like cracking a joke and drinking some beers, whatever. I think it means something different to everybody. But I think I don't think we'll ever know what the truth is. But I think it would be interesting to know, is life or is life real, really? Is this all tangible? Is it what we consider real? Or is this all created, where outside my window I can hear a plane going by? That doesn't mean that there's a plane going by or that there's a plane in the air, but I can just hear it. My curtains are closed, I can't see it. How do I know that that plane is not basically a generated or produced sound, but it's actually coming from an airplane? But I think that would be fun to know, of why, who, and how. How did we end up here? Who put us here? Right? Was it the fucking fish, Fred? Was it God? Or is it a computer? Or what we think of as a computer? That's what I always thought about. In the past, when all the NASA comes out, or astrophysicists and whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, we're looking for all these new telescopes that we have and new satellites that we have. We're going to try and look at planets that we think can sustain life. And I think that's a good thing to do. But I've never, even as long as I can remember, I could never understand why we are looking for life of what we consider life, right? We're looking for oxygen, some sort of food source, and water, right? You need all three to be able to survive. Maybe more, maybe less, I don't know. But I don't think, and I've never thought that that is a good way, because how are we to assume that life on other planets need the same nutrients or need the same resources that we have, or what we consider life? Who are we to say, life needs this? Maybe our life needs that. That doesn't mean that there's another life out there. So I think there are a lot of planets or a lot of areas that we're like, no way is that inhabitable. And I think it's a wrong way to look at it. Because I think, if you're looking for an alien civilization, not only do I think we have found it, but they've probably found us for many of years. But how are we to assume, or how are you to assume, and why can't we try the opposite? Because I think if we're looking for alien life out of the universe or out of this world or whatever, I think the first thing you think of is the resources that we have and what we need to survive: water, oxygen, food. Okay, you get those three things, and sunlight. But why are we to assume that they would be similar? Maybe there are ones that are similar to us, but maybe there probably are other ones that aren't like us. They don't need oxygen. They don't need sunlight. They don't need water, right? I mean, we're going off of what we consider life, but there are probably so many other life forms that couldn't imagine what we need that they don't, or what they need and we don't. It goes back to this. I think this is a simulation, because you look millions of years ago, they say there were dinosaurs. And I'm not buying it. I am not buying the whole Tyrannosaurus Rex bit. I can't. Because you have these fucking bones, and apparently they died from a meteor strike or an ice age. I've heard multiple different things. I don't know what the fuck happened. And whatever they say happened, it killed all of the dinosaurs. Such a tragic event. But we can't say what it is, but it was fucking tragic as fuck. Okay. And then sometime after, humans were on the planet. If you read the book of Crazy, is Adam and Eve and that whole fucked up thing. And that's why the world is the way it is. Because Adam ate the fucking apple, or Eve ate somebody ate the fucking apple. I'm not buying it. I am not buying it. There's this guy that said, I am creating two people. I'm going to have one poison tree and then other regular trees. And if you eat off this poison tree, I'm going to not only make your life hell, but everybody else that comes to the world, I'm going to make their life a living hell as well. But it's bad, right? I don't do good things. I kill. I let others be killed, right? People go hungry. I mean, so many things going on here. But he's a good guy. He's a good guy. I don't buy it. I don't see what they see. But maybe they don't see what I see. Maybe nobody sees what the other person sees. It's food for thought. I'm going to go to rabbit hole on Reddit tonight. I follow a subreddit called, I think it's Conspiracy Theories. Apparently, it used to be a really good subreddit for a lot of really good theories. We still get really good theories, but a lot of them are so bad. A lot of them are bad. I can't even. You can just usually tell by the title. I've been unsure a couple of times. And then I started reading the post, and I was like, I'm not confused anymore. You fucking batshit fuck. People are crazy. Or people are just trolling. Probably both. But the most recent one that I fell into was the one where, Hitler, how they say that Hitler wasn't killed, or he didn't die by suicide. And those were bodies planted down there. And he escaped and went to Argentina. So I fell into that rabbit hole, and I was like, damn, that sounds fucking plausible. Knowing the U.S. military, wouldn't doubt it. Wouldn't doubt it. And then I saw how Nazis, during the height of World War II, they sent an expedition down to Antarctica. And they still say that most of Antarctica, there are a couple places that you can dock and walk around or whatever, but most places on Antarctica, you're not allowed to visit. It's uninhabitable for longer lengths of time as well. And they try to use that. But I don't know. I think I don't believe in this one, but I read it and I was like, it sounds good. Where during World War II, Hitler sent an expedition down to Antarctica to build a fortress or something. So apparently they said that they built I think it was in an ice cave that they had built, and were bringing people over within the Nazi group, and so that way they can have their own Nazi city or something like that. And that's where Hitler went and died. I think the one more plausible is the one where he went down to Argentina, and that's where he lived out the rest of his life. I think it's believable. But I just can't fathom or wrap my head around the fact that so many years ago, two people ate the forbidden fruit or whatever, and then here we are, and we went from nothing to what we have now, where you have your iPhone, your Apple Watch, or a computer, now supercomputers, skyscrapers, cars, really any air conditioning. I mean, come on. I don't believe that is just what humans created or what humans came up with, because it doesn't make sense. Because how do you start from fucking grass and cows and pigs and goose and whatever to building a fucking skyscraper? It does not make sense. And why? My question would be, why would you go from living off of the land, living where you want to live, right? There's no borders. There's no, nothing else was discovered at that point. And you can really do and go anywhere. You can go to another country and say, hey, I found it. But people had already found it because they were living here. But, yeah. But it just doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. Because why would you go from just living life, right, and just doing what you want, right? You're still working because you're getting, the house, or you don't have a house, but your tents or whatever. How are you built? Where's that shit coming from? It doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense. And we have fucking airplanes. I mean, come on. Doesn't make sense. Does not make sense. But I'll leave you with that. I promise I'm not a nutbag. I just like reading conspiracy theories. Whether they're true or not, some of them are fun to read. Some of them are. Some of them aren't. Man, some of them aren't. All right. Well, with that, I'm going to cut this up and post it real quick. And I got to go to the grocery store tonight. It's already after 9. It's late. So have fun. Have a great night. I will see you and talk to you guys next week.